Bashayishi boko bafuma Beli kulumbanya Alikwata nechilumba Umone boy kwesu Feba lele na kusamba panika Mwimbona mfuala matai Temukalale na fiarilwe Mwimbona majeke chokulepa Nandibona alikwata kwesu Shabanga wana banumba Bashayishi boko bafuma Betinda byokulumbanya alikwata nechilumba Umone boy kwesu Feba lele na kusamba panika Monebo ikwesu Fweba bele no kusamba panika Nefumushu sana shateka Pamwewa eba kalamba Kwa Amba kwa bashibirisha kumulundu Nibamwasa kombe na chitembo Shimbi shibirisha kabangwe ulu Nibambuluwe na bambulongwe Nefumushu sana shateka Bamwewa eba kalamba Kwa bashibirisha kumulundu Nibamwasa kombe na chitembo Shimbi shibirisha kabangwe ulu Nibambuluwe na bambulongwe Kama na basongola meno Bena bakwabo nintambi Mama na basongola meno Bena bakwabo nintambi Mama na bampolo tokumenso Nabo bene kwabo nintambi Mama na bampolo tokumenso Nabo bene kwabo nintambi Kama mwane misisi ya pemu Bena bakwabo nintambi Mama ne misisi ya pemu Bena bakwabo nintambi Nambo bapiga wile kisungu Mukalale mwena temunyabo Kango bapika wile kisungu Mukalale mwena temunyabo Alapumu mwanebo ekwesu Fweba lele no kusamba panika Inombanu mbulene mikoa Ekwisi befyo na ikala Nombanu mbulene mikoa Ekwisi befyo na ikala Batatane bobe na mumba batani nekisiki ukwali Bamayo bena balumbu Nanguntiri abena kasimu Nombo kukonka nentambi Nemwine ndi mwina kasimu Umumba nebo ikwesu Fweba bele no kusamba panika Inomba numbulene mikoa Ekwisi befyo na ikala Nomba numbulene mikoa Ekwisi befyo na ikala Batata nebo bena mumba batani nekisiki ukwali Bamayo bena balumbu Nanguntiri abena kasimu Nombo kukonka nentambi Nemwine ndi mwina kasimu Umumba nebo ikwesu Fweba lele no kusamba panika
Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, everyone from diaspora. Welcome to another presentation of TV Bakwetu. And I'm your host, Linda Banks. And I have a guest sitting next to me. And he is our resident member of parliament for Kankoyo constituency, Heartson Mabeta. Good evening.
Wow, good evening, Linda. It's great to be back here again. Good evening to all the Zambians, our beautiful and I can say very gracious people we have in this world. I think Zambian people seems to be the best people you can ever have in your lives. Good evening to the 11th province, the diaspora.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we are not complete without you people. So tulamifuluka sana Malinda. Mukesa tumalakolisa.
Look like any corona so we'll definitely come and see what you guys are up to over there in Kankoyo. Right, if you have just joined us, it's great to have you here and kindly share the link. I can already see people typing in Inutu, good evening. Paxina, Honourable Emmanuel Musonda, you like the song? I like the song as well, actually. I love Punchano Kaiche. So it's great to see you. I will give you a couple of seconds to share the link to every group that you can think of, because we have some really pertinent things to deal with, pertinent questions and topics to deal with. So it would be lovely for you guys to share the link to every person that you can think of. Tag your friends. I very rarely actually see you guys tagging your friends. You're just there enjoying yourselves. It would be quite nice to tag your friends. So, Honourable Mabeta, how's Kankoyo and how's Parliament?
Wow, Kankoyo is the same expectation, challenges, obvious, trying to do a bit of checks, see where we are, where we're coming from, see what we promised the people of Kankoyo, the contract we signed with them I can say 6 years we've been engaging in politics, because I started campaigning back in the 2016, in 2015 presidential by-election. That's when I introduced myself to the people of Kankoyo officially as an aspiring candidate. So it's been 6 years with them. So we've tried to see and review what we've really been engaging the people of Kankoyo, trying to understand deeper now that we are in this position, very rare position to serve them. So I've tried to review a lot of things with them. Yeah.
Brilliant. We'll get into the nitty-gritties of that in a minute. I've just been struck by a comment from Sampachungu, who is our incredible viewer. He's always here every night, and he says Zambia is a comedy channel in heaven. What do you think of that, Honourable? How is Zambia?
Anyway,
what do you think about that? It's a comedy channel in heaven.
No, Zambia is a very interesting place to be. I think it's something I've come to love and enjoy being in. Having been to a few countries, I've seen how cold some people are in other countries, how unfriendly, how it's difficult just to create new friends. But in Zambia, you don't need to take a minute to create a new friend. Everyone will greet you even before you can greet them, you know. So this just atmosphere which makes Zambia a unique and a beautiful place to live in. It gives you comedy sometimes, but comedians everywhere, in sports, in politics, in religion, those who exaggerate things. So it's always exciting to be. Zambia is a place, I'm sure, even in heaven, those who are in heaven would want to get the update. What is going on in Zambia?
Absolutely, that's so true. The other thing that I find about our people is no matter how dire a situation could be, things could be terrible. People are starving, or they're looking for work and they can't find work, but they'll always laugh. They always find something funny about their situation and just carry on like that, don't you think?
Yeah, Linda, if you are to look at the level of suicide in Zambia, you can say they're almost zero. They're almost zero. Just as shows you how strong Zambians are, because in many countries we have suicide due to depression. People who've got everything to do, maybe they just get their heart broken in a relationship, they commit suicide. But in Zambia, it's very rare. It's very rare to find someone committing suicide. That just shows how strong we are, how resilient we are to how problems don't really get to our heart. We get affected, well, but we easily move on because emotions change like a season. So Zambians are very strong people. I think when it comes to being emotional, ready to face any challenges, we are very strong people. One thing I learned when we were voting during the August 11, I went from a polling station to polling station, polling station to polling station. Everyone was just calm. No one was moved that I was there. No one even whispered to say, we are going to vote for change. They were just quiet. So Zambians are very complex people, Linda. They're not people can take for granted. Emotionally, we are very strong. We're able to resist pressure and hold our emotions strong.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah. And just to add, mental health is a very serious condition, and if you're struggling with mental health, I thought I'd just add that please seek help, and just know that there's always someone out there who's ready to listen to what you have to say and to help you through that process. So don't sit on your own and wallow. Make sure you seek help. Right. Before we get started, I can see all our usual customers, the usual viewers, they're sending greetings to you, Honourable Mabeta, and they're just telling us what they're up to. And actually, out of interest, could you just add where you're watching us from? I want to see each one of you, because I can see all our YouTube viewers from my different screens right in front of me. I could see the LinkedIn viewers, people watching from Twitter. So it would be quite nice to see where you're watching us from. I'm suspecting that we have more viewers from diaspora and Zambia, but interestingly enough, we've been getting mail from different parts of Africa. So kindly just type in where you're watching us from. Right, without further ado, we will get into the nitty-gritties of today's business. But before we get started, I just want to tell our viewers this, that every time a person has been elected into government, for instance, a Republican president, it's imperative that they start creating or forging alliances with other countries. And I hear you say, how do you do that? And that leader, a president, for instance, will forge alliances, bilateral alliances, for instance, by talking and visiting other countries. And this is exactly what our Republican president has been doing. He's brand new. He doesn't know anyone. He's never held political office. So it's important that he forges these strong ties with other countries. So this could be for business purposes, trade, industry, could be agriculture, for health, and just kind of swapping ideas with other world leaders. Because I have been hearing a lot of chit chats about calling the president Vasco da Gama and all sorts of things. Now, the difference, Honourable Mabeta, that I've noticed between these trips that the president is making, and my colleague Dr. Munsha alluded to this last night, the difference is the president is coming back with something. It's a bit like, I remember dads working in the mines, you know, he brings back the bacon, he brings back the food. So our president is like a father. He goes out, negotiates with other world leaders, comes back with the resources that we need. So I think we should panic less. I know we are all enjoying this newly found freedom of expression, but we just need to be a little bit cautious as well. Okay, so having said that, Honourable Mabeta, the president has just returned from Democratic Republic of Congo, and you are obviously on the Copperbelt, to be precise, in Mufulira. And Mufulira is literally like next door neighbors with Congo, isn't it?
It's a stone's throw away from here, less than 15 kilometers away from the CBD of Mufulira. So definitely, as you have alluded to, you know, Linda, for a long time, I think in our policy direction as a country, we failed to accept the fact that Zambia is not a landlocked country. Zambia is a landlocked country. You know, we are sharing borders with 8 countries with different population and different needs and different opportunities those countries offer to this country. So if we don't realize the need to create strong bond and strong opportunities across borders, as Zambia will continue focusing on our internal resources, which is the copper, you know. We are in a situation where Linda, for a long time. 1964, we had a population of 2 million people. We had 7 mines, big mines running. The economy was booming. 2021, the population is going to 19 million. We only have 3-4 mines which have been able to declare profits to the government. The rest of the mines, they are limping. So we cannot expect the same life we had in 1964, when we had only 2 million, less than 2 million people in the country, with 19 million, 17 million to depend on the same resources. So as UPND, our focus more is creating new opportunities. But we can't create those opportunities if we don't travel. If, you know, our president is got his own natural abilities. Every person has got their own, what I call God-given strength. His strength is eloquent, is able to reason and think, and is able to appeal to someone. He's someone who'd want to listen to when he's talking. So that creates a confidence. The most important part of any business deal is the confidence you create by face value. You need to give them confidence even before you deal with anyone, you know. Everyone who walks in the shop, the person who's attending to you, that's confidence they create whenever they see you. There's a perception we carry as human beings. Others will think as if, others You just be surprised the guard is following you, but the next customer, they're not following them. So there's that perception we carry. So our president has packaged himself as a person people can easily trust and build confidence, so that when they bring the investment, they're going to know to say for sure the investment is going to be safe in the country. Number two, opportunities. They'll start looking at Zambia, what is in Zambia. So if it doesn't travel, it doesn't interact, how is he going to sell his God-given abilities, which I may not have, So the president, without traveling, we're not going to create opportunities. Linda, believe you me, we need opportunities for this country to have a different perspective. We've got 17 million people who don't need to survive or depend on copper for us to earn a better life. So the moment we try to find the gap between an increased population with limited resources, we're not going to solve the problem. Zambians voted for the change. The change they wanted is of opportunities to earn a living. We can easily do away with the cadarism. We can easily do away with corruption, but that's going to put food on the table. No. What to put food on the table are the new opportunities the UPN is going to create. And by creating these opportunities, we need to be able to attract, negotiate, and give confidence to those who might be given a better opportunity than we don't have. Congo today remains as the largest potential single source of market in Southern Africa. Katanga province, which is just the province across 15 kilometers from here, from Freedom, maybe 300 kilometers from Kizwe. It has a population of 18 million. That's one province. That's the total population of Zambia. So if we utilize that province alone, it can absorb whatever the one is we have 7 mines that I alluded to. They've got 55 copper mines, they've got cobalt mines, they've got diamond mines, they've got more opportunities that we have here in Zambia. Population is a population which is not so much into production because they can easily have access. If the president doesn't visit, the president visit has given us an opportunity, more especially like a member of parliament sharing a border with Congo, to make a follow-up, engage the mayor for that, engage the governor for that province, engage the mayor of Frida. We travel together, go and make follow-up trade. You're going to make, trade, follow-up trades with the trip with the president to create opportunities for our people. Because even in Mufulira here, there's a high level of unemployment. High level of employment which shall not be sorted by the mine only. We have to look at opportunities beyond the mine. So we cannot continue looking at opportunity within Zambia trying to solve the problem which we have. The biggest problem we have in Zambia are opportunities. Very few people got opportunities. Have access to opportunities, we can change their lives. So if we don't create those opportunities, people will soon get fatigued and get frustrated because they're not able to put food on their table. So we have to look at the long term of what we are doing.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Now, which nicely leads me to my very first question for you. So we've extensively talked about how the president has returned from Congo, and I've been following what he's been getting up to. He's had bilateral meetings on trade, commerce, and industry, and specific areas of trade. And he's met specific people involved in various industries that he's interested in. Now, my question to you, Honourable Mabeta, is how do you think the presidential trip to Congo is going to benefit your people in Kankoyo?
Yeah, I think that before he went to Congo, the president challenged the Millers Association of Zambia to say, once you create an opportunity for Zambia to export 600,000 metric tons of milling meal, which translates to 25 million bags of 25 kg of milling meal. 25 million bags of 25 kg milling meal times, if it's $150 or $30 per bag, that gives us to almost 18 billion opportunities for the people of Zambia. But that opportunity only come to those who are prepared for it. So already, as I alluded last time we were here, Linda, I spoke of getting an export permit, which unfortunately we are declined because we are not registered. The list which is submitted to the Ministry of Agriculture has to go through the Millers Association of Zambia. So in getting them today, they told us since Kankoyo investment is a community investment, they are going to waive that requirement on a milling company. So they're going to give us a portion to start exporting mealie meal to Congo. So when that portion is given, meaning we'll also be able to tap in that opportunity the president has created. So these opportunities will not come in our, on our table. We need to look for them, and we need to prepare. That's why we need always to follow the direction and the trend the president is putting the country, so that we are ready to meet the opportunities we're going to create. So that 25 million bags of mealie meal by 25, maybe here in Mufira we have to look at 5 million of that 25 should come from Mufira, so that we can be able. We have got 2 milling companies already sitting in our district. There's Matava milling, then there's Olympic milling, the one I'm sure we should have, where we can buy mealie meal and export. So that's just giving us an opportunity to say, if we put our resources together, we can tap in that market. So that's a huge, for us, it was a huge trip, and most especially that you did it at a time like this, when we needed it most. So it means a lot to the people of not only Kankoyo, but Mufira, because we are ready to tap in that market. The paperwork has been done. What we are doing is legalize everything. We don't want to go into illegal trade. Again, don't want to be selfish. In the past, what we saw was such a business was never shared with the community. Only a few people's connections were even aware to say there's export of minimum. I'm sure most of the people are not aware that minimum has been there's been export of minimum in the past, but now we are being open. The process is being open and being transparent and accountable. So it's an opportunity for all.
Brilliant. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Now, just a follow-up question on that. So who can export? Can just Vamayovana Chansa Pakona grows a lot of maize? Can she just collect her produce and export? What is the process for small-scale farmers to be able to trade or to sell to their fellow Congolese?
Yeah, I think on the maize part, we're a bit late because much of the maize has been bought by FRA. There are few people having the maize, so it's difficult to put the maize together, because what you need is, when you put the maize together, you need to have a fumigator from Lusaka to come and fumigate. Fumigating is a process where the maize is certified, meaning you coat it with chemicals to ensure that should there be a problem in Congo, they have an outbreak of a certain pest, it's not linked to Zambia to say we are having this problem because we bought maize from Zambia. So when you fumigate it, you are sealing it to ensure that the maize is locked from any pest attack. Then once that is done, then you apply for a permit within 4 or 5 days are given, then you can sell to anyone in Congo. But this year we might say we're a bit late because we didn't start the process quite early. But come next year, May, June, July, anyone, as long as you can manage to meet the cost of the fumigator, you'll be able to export whatever you want. It's a free market, open market. We are very transparent, and I'm sure that's, we even keep a database of the people who are going to help to create that business. Because at the end of the day, what you want is to build the capacity of small scale farmers to also trade and be able to earn a better earning from their efforts. Agriculture will always be our next best alternative, but you need to support it, build the confidence, and create channels on which people can trade and earn a living out of it. For the mealie meal, once we have get the permits, we are going to engage the civic leaders. We'll make it public. We'll share the portion. You can bring your 10 bags, you make a truckload. You go and do your business. So everything will be transparent. At the end of the day, what you want is to create opportunities slowly but sure for the people of Kankoyo first and the Mufiri at large.
Fantastic. That's really lovely. Now, Honourable Mabeta, you are literally just coming up to your 100 days in office. Now, I want to challenge you by telling our viewers, what have you achieved? Because the reason why we have you here, apart from giving us insights on what is happening in Parliament, we want to know everything, the gossip, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want to know it all. But also, more importantly, we want to know if you are succeeding at your job. We want to hold you to account, we want to hold you accountable for everything that you're doing. 100 days in office, talk our viewers through the main things that you feel you've achieved.
Yeah, basically, in the first thing I promised the people of Kankoyo is I'm not going to be a member of parliament who is going to take over people's responsibility. What am I talking about? I'm not going to take over the need for the family to put their loved ones to rest when they die. I'm not going to be a member of parliament who's going to take over the responsibility of a councillor to clean drainages, to receive submissions for community development. I won't take over roles of people. I want to focus more on creating opportunities, like I was saying here. We also promised them to say our greatest opportunity lies into the Congo market. I think I've taken a bit of time to create that need, the need for the government to be aware to say, as the people of Kankoyo intend to build a road between Kankoyo and Kasumbalesa direct, which is only 60 kilometers from Kankoyo. We've written to them to request for a feasibility study. Unfortunately, we are told to say in the 2021 budget, that part wasn't budgeted for, but we hope in 2021 we're going to do that feasibility study. So within this period, we promised them to build 2 level 1 clinic. Lungu. How are you?
We've just been joined by my co-host a little late,
yeah.
but he joined us nonetheless. Welcome, Mr. Mukelebai. I almost called you Honourable Mukelebai there. I don't know why. Hi.
I receive. Hello, good evening. I'm sorry to have interrupted, or rather come a little bit late. I'm being a typical Zambian when it comes to time management.
Yeah.
So
that's
my
right.
apologies.
Understand.
It is nice to see you, Honourable. Thank you so much for coming and to share to give us the update of what is going on. We have many questions, and I want you, Honourable, to simply come in and respond to these chaps who are busy trying to send sentiments that are so destroying and destructive. Negativity has taken over in their mouth. Yeah, so I just wanted you to explain, like you have said. Thank you, Linda, for that guidance. So
that's right. I just thought welcome you first, and then we'll let Honourable Mabeta carry on.
Yes, sorry about that.
That's okay. Just for the benefit of viewers, Mukelebai is being modest here and saying he's being a typical Zambian, he's late. Diaspora, we have different work schedules. So he's literally just got back from work. So it's not that he's late, he's been working. I just thought because our viewers may think that Mukelebai is being unprofessional. He was at work and he's just arrived. So just to put it out there. Honourable Mabeta, please carry on. First 5 days.
Yeah, so basically we've set things moving. I think when I look at the 9-point plan which we sought to the people of Kankoyo for them to have the confidence, we've touched most of the areas with things we're in the set process, like we've set the foundation. Come 2022, fortunately, with the expanded budget, the expanded allocation in the CDF, we might just be lucky to ensure that out of the nine lines of commitments which we signed with the people of Kankoyo, we would have achieved 8. One remain with the Kankoyo Kasumbalesa road. So that's why when we spoke of the CDF, I think the CDF sorted most of the problems which were anticipated to solve in the next 5 years. So that CDF gives us an opportunity to start thinking of how relevant am I going to remain to the people of Kankoyo come 2023, 2024, 2025? Because 2022, 2023 mid-year would have attained most of the things we promised to do in Kankoyo because of the expanded CDF. So we need not start looking into the future, tapping into being relevant come 2023, 2024, 2025. Otherwise, we may end up ending my term next year, which will become boring going forward.
Well, I want to press you on that because I don't feel you've answered the question to my satisfaction. Can you just tell me, for instance, 2 or 3 things that you have achieved in the 90 days? And also you touched slightly onto my next question about CDF. What are your priorities? What's on your priority list? Just itemize them, like the things that you want to spend the CDF on.
Well, okay. Well, basically what we agreed with the people of Kankoyo is to expand access to health facilities because the population has expanded, just like I told you. So we made the commitment to build, to expand, to upgrade 2 clinics in the 2 wards. I don't want to be specific because not everyone here understands the geography of Kankoyo. If you are talking to the people of Kankoyo, it would have been easy for me to be more specific. But if I go that area, we may end up confusing on being unfair to other viewers who don't really understand the geography of Kankoyo. So I'm trying to be a little bit trying to be general so that I can everyone can appreciate what I'm talking about. So when our model, Linda, is to look at 3 important areas of our constituents. There's developmental needs, there's need for security, because we have a high crime rate in Kankoyo at the moment, just like most part of Zambia. Then number 3 is production. We need to be productive. We want this CDF not to come in to build the structures which won't be able to even paint themselves a year after or 2 years after, which won't be able to fix themselves. So I want to invest in production to ensure that we can earn more and be able to fund and sustain ourselves in future.
Production of what?
Production of goods and services, sale of labor, Yeah, we need to sell labor to existing mines. We need to sell mine, because in Kankoyo we've got the good deposits of silica deposits. So we want to increase that part of producing silica to be able to supply not only Mopani mine but Kansanshi, Northwestern. Most of the mines which use silica, I want to go back to the days when Kankoyo became the largest supplier of silica in Zambia, because in 2015, 2016, when we were in that business, we were able to supply silica across the Copperbelt and Northwestern, which was coming up on the mine. We also want to increase the production of crops. Maize, groundnuts, sunflower. So to increase this production, obviously we need to equip ourselves to change from traditional way of farming and equip our farmers with tractor farming equipment. Because if we don't equip them with farming equipment, it will be difficult for them to increase their production. So we're looking at an expanded production capacity so that we can generate more. We don't just want to rely on what the government is going to give. I think I had a meeting on Monday with the councillors, and we made it very clear to say the 25.7 the government is going to give us, it's the effort of the president. So even us as civic leaders, the 10 of us, myself as a member of parliament and 9 MPs, we also have to think outside the box to ensure that what the president gives us, we match it also, because we can't just depend on what the government is giving us. We need also to be creative to earn more for the benefit of the people of Kankoyo. So there's a master plan which we've put in place to ensure that we achieve that part of also being productive, creative, and earn more. The CDF is the effort of the president. I, as a member of parliament, should also look at means of doubling what the president is giving us. If we work extra hard, maybe we have a CDF which is 25.7, should also match another 25.7, which have raised through our efforts to be able to meet the needs, because in Kankoyo we've got a lot of vulnerable people. You have grade 12 with no full grade 12 paper. We have got grade 12 who needs to go to colleges. You have got students in colleges who are struggling to pay 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Some have got bills as much as 20,000 in the colleges. They need help. They don't have anyone to support them. We've got retirees. Most of the retirees, those former mine employees, they are still, they're in Kankoyo, so they're struggling to find the means to earn a living. We have got the different airboards. We've got the edge. So I've got a line of dependents. I can categorize them. It's 10 groups of people who've got different needs. So if we don't generate more to meet their needs, we become irrelevant to them. Quite well, can give them development. That development should meet their first need of life to be able to put food on the table. So if you're not thinking about how we're going to help them have a chance to put food on the table, whatever we're going to do, sooner or later they will say it's useless. So you have to also look at their need to put food on the table. You can give them a hospital, you can give them a modern police, you can give them a modern swimming pool, a modern food sports facility, but as long as they don't have food on the table, they would say we are irrelevant to them. So our focus has to also look at their needs, their immediate needs. We've got students in private colleges who cannot have access to a bursary, because government bursaries are only given to students in government institutions, but those in private colleges, how do we help them? How do we tap into their needs? So we need to be more of a problem solver than creating problem for our community. And we don't want to be solving problems so involving ourselves into illegal business or dubious activities, corruption. You know, appetite for money pushes you to involve yourself in illegal activities, which end up, backfiring in future. So I want to create a system which will be able to sustain the people of Kankoyo with or without me being a member of parliament.
Fantastic. That's really good. We're going to give you 3 months for you to implement all those wonderful things that you've talked about, and then we'll come back and see how far those projects are going, which is really good. And I think it would be quite nice for us to be doing the same for other members of parliament, just for accountability's sake. Now, before I bring in my co-host, who is bursting with incredible questions, I would like to take this moment to say happy Thanksgiving to our other 11th part of the 11th province. Americans are celebrating Thanksgiving, so I just wanted to spend some time to wish them a very happy Thanksgiving. And I have Faith Kayova, who is following. Faith, can you share the link, please? Sam Patel, Teddy Chaila, Sam Pachungu, please share the link. Glenda, nice to see you. Ruth Mwene, lovely to see you. Kindly share the link to other people. That would be amazing. So far, the Honourable has very swiftly passed through what he has implemented in the first 100 days. Are you satisfied?
Well, he seemed to be focused and still on the still a new broom. So we want by now. I think it will be too early and very unfair for us to start judging, or rather asking to see the results immediately.
Not judging, but he actually asked me to make him accountable for everything. So
okay, absolutely. Yeah. No, that was a wonderful question you gave him, and he at least has shed light on the things that he has or he's planning to do, which is very good, and which is on the way, or it's in the pipeline. And what we want to see, Honourable, is results, because there has been a lot of talks. I call it viva voce. Tulalanda sana, Zambia twalikwata sana ideas. But when it comes to implementing, putting those ideas into reality, they become problematic. We have issues to do with now. Right now, I can see when he was explaining about the things that he wishes or he wants to do, and I'm looking at, don't overstretch yourself just because you have seen there's this amount of money that has been given. It will be like everyone would want to come to have a share in that. But as you put it, to say you need to first of all sit down, identify the immediate problems that the community are facing, your people are facing in the area, and now sit down with other stakeholders and see how you are going to mitigate such kind of challenges. And of course, generation, how to generate the money. Yes, it's not just money for consumption. We should do away with that mentality of just receiving, and we are not multiplying or investing our monies into something that will help us tomorrow, especially when it comes to skills. I hear you talk about people, youths that are unemployed, youths that are not able to pay their exam fees or their school fees, but there's always plan B that you can do. Like you talked of, what is this, labor? Of course, that is employment, creating employment, isn't it? So you have to explain to the Zambian people on how do you wish to create this employment, in what category, how does the CDF and employment creation, how will it, could you explain and expand on that one, so that be practical, so that we see how you are going to achieve that dream, that objective. So that is where I was trying to say. But otherwise, OMP, Honourable, you're on the right track. And we thank you for that you are focused, and job well done.
Thank you so much, Bom Kelevai. And I think just to clarify the long-winded way of Bom Kelevai's assertions here, it's basically you have to be specific. You know, the SMART targets. You have to look at a specific project, identify which people in the community, either the youths, the women, or just the men. How are you going to channel a particular chunk of the CDF towards that, and is it measurable, and is it, you give yourself a time frame, how long will this take? So those specifics, instead of like a general assertions that we're going to fix the roads, how are you going to fix the roads? So you could say, I would start from the only road I remember, like Ndola Road to Chibolia, for instance. We are going to fix that road by the end of whatever. So just being rather specific on that. Did you want to comment on what Bom Kelevai said, or should we move on to the next slot?
Yeah, I think he's right. So in order for us to approach this, the need you identified is that it means scientifically, we've tasked the councillors in our communities to start building statistics of in each ward, how many people in this category. I mean, how many youths who are above 18 years could have wanted to have sat for the grade 12, but they didn't manage to get a full grade 12 certificate. So each category, we're going to do a statistics. So I've asked them to do a budget on how much it's going to cost to build those numbers, because you need to have a statistics. At a glance, when I go in the ward, I need to understand the people I'm going to meet. In this ward, how many people I need of this type of help? How many people I need, I've got this skill sets. How many people? So we want to build statistics so that we stop shooting in the dark. So I've told them to do the budgets. We're going to do the first quarter of 2022 on building the statistics. You shouldn't wait for central statistics to build numbers for us when we can easily do it. So we're going to go into Robert's process of building numbers so that we can put a spreadsheet. We can invite those who've got skills in developing software, so that when I click, just at a click, I can understand how many bricklayers do we have in this community, how many boiler makers, how many unskilled labor. So we need to have the numbers so that we start making programs which are realistic and specific and attainable. Otherwise, if we don't have those statistics, we'll end up shooting in the dark. So in the process of building statistics, once we build the statistics, it will be easy for us to make the right decisions. Otherwise, leaving it to the community, we are not going to achieve anything. We need to be in the forefront to help them think beyond. And of course, we learn a lot from what is happening now. I've got an opportunity. I've got internet 24 hours, 24/7 in my home. I'm researching, I'm listening to other people presenting. We are learning a lot. So why should I compare myself to someone maybe who may not even have a 5 quarter to get a bundle? So when I get that information, I pass to them and so that I see how to go to the ground. So we can still attain. It's a huge task, but we are equal to the task because we've done it before. It's not something new, it's something we've done. That's why I don't even have a problem with the president when he says he wants to achieve this, because something's done all his life. Something, it's a player like Ronaldo, who you are very confident that even if you take him to a useless team, will be able to score because he's done it. There's that history of having managed to do those things. So the things we want to engage are not things which are overstretching because we've done them before at a smaller scale, even in a very, very difficult environment. The people really wanted to destroy us. They worked so hard to ensure that we are eliminated from being a competitor. But we managed to survive because we are fortunate to have certain skills which want now the public to benefit from what we have.
Thanks so much. And just add to what Honourable Mabeta has said, I have the benefit of knowing him personally, and he has been doing incredible work on the Copperbelt as a whole, but specifically in Mufulira in regards to business, from starting up a business, fish farming, that they actually sell to other parts of the Copperbelt, from general farming, growing vegetables and maize and all that sort of stuff. So he does have the blueprint on how to make this successful on a bigger scale. So I have so much confidence. Don't let me down.
Actually, just to add on what Mabeta said, Honourable, you are right. The only emphasis that I want also you to concentrate on is to train as many to bring out these skills, this vocational training. There are so many young youths out there that are doing nothing. They've just completed school. They have no clue on how they're going to start up their. We talk of business, but when you talk of business, you have the money. You can have the money, but if you don't have the knowledge on how to run that business that you are going to be given, then it will just be a drop in a sea. So the best thing is train as much youths as possible. The bricklayers, like you put it, and the carpenters, the plumbers, the electricians, and these once the society has so many of these kind of profession or training in a society, I promise you will see a lot of development in your area. Train as much, impart this knowledge in our youths.
Thank you so much, Bomkelevai. I have just been joined by two of our Bakwetu family members, Gladys Storm and Mr. Nkwilimba. So, Mr. Nkwilimba, what contribution do you have for our Member of Parliament? So we've been analysing his first 100 days in Parliament as a Member of Parliament, and also the trip to Congo by the president, how it's going to benefit his constituency. He will be back. You can just make comments. And
thank you, Linda. And
kindly mute yourselves.
I think I'm unmuted.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Linda, and greetings to Bomkelevai and the Honourable MP. And Gladys as well has just joined. As always, MP, focused, energetic. I think you have done a lot already in the 100 days, because you are building a foundation for the future activities. And listening to you, I can see that you are setting that foundation. It is important to set a foundation, to build upon. So I think that you are doing well. You are on the right track as you build that foundation. In fact, I'm trying, listening from you, I'm also getting some ideas. I looked at your plan of the database for Kankoyo. It is something that we can do at the lowest level, at ward level. I'm participating in my own ward here. I'm going to be part of the committee that will be looking at the CDC, the Constitutional Development Fund at the ward level. I want to go lower, right with the community, and try to do what I can do there using my many years of experience in development work. Yeah, but I have two questions for you. Sometimes there's a tendency for the MP to be the center of what happens in the constituency, even in terms of identifying what should be done, the development agenda. How are you going to make sure that you don't overshadow the some people that you are trying to help, the community, to ensure that some of the ideas are actually coming from the community, because that way they will own the process of development. It is not something that would have been dropped from the MP, but they will be empowered, to plan for their future, to plan for their involvement in development activities, either at community level or at individual level. That's one question. And the other question is, you have this brilliant idea of, exporting mealie meal to the Congo DR. Don't you think that the millers themselves may see you as a competitor? Wouldn't they want to export mealie meal themselves as millers, or are they not allowed? And if they are, how are you going to position yourself so that your plans are not frustrated? Thank you.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. That's Mr. Mapanzang. If I read your name well. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mapanza is my first name, so if you want to say Mr., you can say Mr. Nkwirima, but I'm okay with Mapanza. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Nkwirima, yes. Okay. Yeah, I think first I want to thank you for having taken it upon yourself. I think we need people with the expertise and experience like you to get back to the ward to push development, because what we need at the end of the day is locally based solutions through the experts which we've had. People contributing back to the communities where they feel they need to pay back to contribute to development. That is very good, and I would encourage most of you, a lot of us, to get back to the wards and start developing our communities from the ward levels. So when it comes to MPs owning the developmental process, I think the reason we've taxed the councillors to work with the ward development committees, I think that's where you are, to build the statistics. I've just told them to come up with local-based budgets so that you look at how you're going to fund those budgets. They'll do the work themselves. We want to set a system where I want to focus more on strategic planning than execution of the work. That's why I said I don't want to be an MP who's going to take over responsibilities of any stakeholders in the things we do. Ward development is the primary role of a ward development committee. My role is to facilitate and lobby for resources for those committees, for those people in the ward to carry their functions. So I'm focusing more on strategic planning, lobbying of resources, implementation of programs which have been generated from the wards. So I've also asked the local government through the council to train the ward development committees on their roles, responsibilities, how to generate a proposal, how to ensure that that proposal doesn't fail, because the proposal has to be approved by the minister. Any developmental project, it has to be well tailored to ensure that the minister approves it. So they're going to be inducted. So the council is starting to train them next week. The whole next week they'll be training ward development committees so that they understand their roles and responsibilities and the ability to generate the quality proposals. So in my role, and I made it very clear when we met with the councillor, to say I don't want to take over your job. I want to be a strategic planner than execution of works. I don't reduce myself to cleaning of drainages. Not that because I can't do, but I think it's something which someone else can do so that I can focus on things which they can't do. I want to share responsibilities. So I want to put a team where each one should perform to the best of their abilities. On skills development, I think in our plan, we've set up building of skills centers, which will engage also trainers, those who are willing to train our youth in mining equipment, excavators, bulldozers, graders. There's someone already willing to train the youths on how to operate those to become operators. So the foundation we've put is a complete circle of skills development. So when it comes to competition between millers and ourselves as a community-based company to export mini meal to the same market where the millers are also taking, I think I'm going to have a meeting very soon with the Mill Association of Zambia. We are going to look at a way of a win-win situation where cooperatives should also be given an opportunity to trade in this business opportunity. Because if we go into trade war, millers decide to be selfish and say, no, they can't give us a portion to export the maize. I mean, the mini meal. We have no choice but to pass a bill in Parliament which is going to limit millers from being producers and exporters of the same commodity. And that is that would be a very unfortunate position. But at the end of the day, we also want our communities to benefit from the market, which is just across them. Long time ago, mini meal export was done by smugglers. I'm sure, Linda, when I hear you saw how we had a lot of smugglers. All we're doing is legalizing the informal sector of the business which they've been doing. Yes, millers are exporting mini meal, but people smuggling mini meal into Congo, and that's it made it difficult for the government to know how much stock we had, and we ended up having shortages of mini meal. So what we want is to formalize everything. The business being done regardless of the parts are contributing, are all sharing the business equally. But if you're going to trade war, we have an upper hand because we're going to pass a bill which may ban millers from exporting the milling meal, which will be the last option.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that extensive answer, Honourable. Miss Storm, hi, nice to see you.
Good evening, Linda, and good evening, everybody and viewers. Yeah, it's nice to see you, Honourable Mabeta. It's been a long time. And I've been following you closely. I'll just comment to say that we are blessed to have Zambia, which is very stable and peaceful. And apparently we are surrounded by a number of countries where there's instability. And I can just comment that we also are blessed to have the president who's really making use of the opportunity to visit different kind of countries and also to create some relationships. It's a pity. They say that ignorance is a sin, and lack of exposure makes people to just complain anyhow. To say that why is the president traveling here and there, not knowing that he's trying to create that relationship in order to bump up our economy. And as I heard Honourable Mabeta saying that you constantly talked, emphasized on agriculture, on supplying.
Gladys?
Yes, please.
I'm terribly sorry to have to pause you. Can we all have our microphones muted, please, as one person is speaking to avoid the echo? Thank you. Sorry, carry on.
Sure. Yes, I just constantly heard the Honourable Mabeta talking about buying maize and supplying to our neighboring country, Congo, where there's a lot of instability, and where we hear here and there that the Congolese people are coming into the country and to get some goods. Honourable, my question is, when you say that we are creating opportunities in your community, especially, Honourable, how do you, can you kindly be precise? What kind of opportunity are you trying, what do you have on the table? And what criteria, knowing that we have different type of categories in our society or in your community, to be precise? We have the people who have finished their grade 12, and those who are unable to get into grade 12, and those who are finished but they lack jobs. So what criteria are you using to create those opportunities, and how do you intend to do it, and what time frame are you looking at, Honourable?
Thank you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can respond to that, Linda.
Yes. Actually, slight change. I will allow Mwelwa, who has just joined us, to ask another question so that you ask them in twos, if that's all right. Mwelwa, welcome to TV Kakwetu. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, but it's great to have you. Kindly go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, Honourable.
Good evening.
I'm a Mufulira girl. I'm
okay.
a Mufulira girl, and I'm interested to see what development you're going to bring, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
My question is a bit two-sided, because I've noticed that as many MPs and councillors excited about the CDF, and a lot of them will tell you, like the way you're explaining, you're saying, well, it's going to be more based, we're trying to get as many youths empowered, we're trying to get a lot of people empowered. But at the same time, I have this little reservation, because I feel like this is not a long-term sustainable plan. So when I look at Mufulira is a town that is very high on movement. So population, there's a lot of people that move out of Mufulira, okay? And when they move out, you have the nurses going abroad, you have the youths coming out. So in the end, I'm thinking you're going to empower the youth, but then they're going to leave. So this is where I'm constantly asking myself, when I hear as many ministers and councillors forwarding the idea of developing the youth rather than the town mindset. So I think my question is, are you empowering the youth, or are you empowering the town long term? Because I'm thinking, well, what's a little bit more sustainable might be the idea that you have an industry that is stationed in the town, and youths are going through this industry, and if they leave, they can leave, but that industry remains within the town. I should be attracted to come back to Mufulira. You get my drift. But I'm in Lusaka because I know that I can't get. Yeah, so that's my question.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So the two questions, later.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think to start with what Gladys has asked, I think maybe just going back a bit, I said we want to group our population. We want not to build statistics in our population. We want to segment them into 10 groups. The first group is the grade 12, those who attempted grade 12, but they didn't get the full grade 12, because today, if there's a job opportunity, you find that very few youths get that opportunity because they don't just have the basic qualification. You know, that is frustrating our efforts. Even the 30,000 teachers, the 11,000 nurses, the government has proposed to employ. Very few are going to come from Kankoyo because you have very low numbers of youths in those with those qualifications. So you need to build their capacity to apply for a job and be competitive. So if I was to categorize or group them into 10, I think Ms. Ankurimba had seen the statistics you're trying to build, so that we go back to them and engage them and understand the real solution to their problem. You know, we are not going to tell them to say this is what you're thinking for. We want to engage them and align what they feel is important to them and how we can just work out to meet their needs. What you want is solution to come from the groups, rather than just going in a community without understanding what they need, not understanding the groups, without understanding what's a big challenge in that community. So once we group them, then we go back to them to understand how they need us to be of help, or maybe how we can work together to solve their challenges. So when I talk about the exports of mini meal and other things, basically we're just looking at meeting the needs of the traders, you know, who may not be in the majority in the community. So we also have a portion where I want to identify farmers, traders, and those people who own companies, because there are people who own companies, but they're just companies on paper, not industries, but that's companies. There are companies on paper which have never done anything in 2, 3, 4 years. So once we group the people, it will be easy for us to engage them and find the solution which will meet their needs. Then I want to talk about skilling. Yes, for sure, Mufulira has got a high rate of human capital flight, where you have talented engineers. Most of the people who are very skilled, they end up living in Mufulira. And in Lusaka, especially most of the people who we know of in Lusaka, talk of KBF, they're all from Mufulira, Mumbaka Pumpa. Most of the people that pass through Mufulira, even most of the presidents, talk of Kaunda Sata, not Chiluba, they all pass through the hands of Mufulira. Kapwepwe, Simon Mwasa Kapwepwe was an MP in the Kankoyo constituency. So Mufulira has produced a lot of talented people, but they've all left. So even in this, I think the next stage you want to do is to create Mufulira alumni, where I want to bring back all the resources, those people who've been in Mufulira before. We want to, at a point of time next year, possibly in November, December, we'll engage you so that you can bring people together and just learn from them. And that's part of another area of mentorship which we want to build. So building an industry should be based on the demand. You can't build an industry without someone willing to buy the products you're going to produce. So before we reach at that level of building an industry, we need to create trades around us. When we make Mufulira a transit town, we build the Mufulira Ndora Road, the Mufulira Mukambo Road, the Mufulira Kasumbaresa Road. Quickly, we are making Mufulira becoming a transit town, which is going to increase the trade. But unfortunately, you can't talk about those roads because there are issues. The Mufulira Ndora Road, the contractor to now has failed to respond. I mean, this RDA, thanks to the news to say most of the directors have been fired from that department. They failed to give us a statement on the works and the payments they did on a contractor who's been on site for 5 and 7 months without doing anything. So once we build the Mufulira Ndora Road, the Mufulira Chembe Road, and the Mufulira Kasumbaresa Road, Mufulira quickly becomes a transit town. When it becomes a transit town, then it increases the trade. And when the trade goes up, industries will come up to provide a service to the traffic which will be going through the town. But for now, we can't talk about that because you have no control on building these roads. So I want to work on within something which you can control. Those are strategic projects which have no control. It depends on the government finding maybe under PPE, a private partner to build the road because the commercial road. So it's to take a bit of time to maybe take after 5 years. So I want to look at short-term plan, medium plans, and long-term plans. So our long-term plan, making Mufulira a transit town is part of the promise we made to the people of Mufulira.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Very questions there. Mwelo, I know for a fact that there's hundreds of people who have passed through the hands of they all nice, they move on to the country. And our systems are put in place where that's, thank you. Kindly keep your microphones muted. Systems are put in place where people can access, for instance, education and develop their skills. It's all right for them to go to other parts of the country or the world indeed, but as long as we keep that process going, then we are able to develop another batch of young people and things carry on like that. Himba Malambo, welcome to the program. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Linda.
So you have been following the program. We have been talking about 100 days of Mabeta being in Parliament, and we've been talking about the president having just returned from the Republic of Congo, and what that is of benefit to his people. Take a pick. What would you like to comment on, or do you have a specific question for Honourable Mabeta?
Thank you so much, Linda, for giving me this opportunity. I'll do pante pante.
Go for it.
Honourable Mabeta, Motamburwa.
Good evening, madam. Long time.
Long time. Tomie yawe, midoke de parliament awamba ola hidalu. Tolumba. Honourable Mabeta, thank you so much. I've seen your approach you are using. I like the methodology which you've used to involve the community. That helps the community to feel the sense of ownership of the project, and hence it gives them the opportunity and the strength to protect those projects in the community. That's a very brilliant idea, because really, if they are involved in the planning, brainstorming from the beginning, they really know how to relate to those projects. And even to develop a community where the community is involved, it's very easy because there's teamwork, there's a division of labor. So that's a very brilliant idea. Then my appeal is that as you are doing this brainstorming, there's a group of young people which I'm appealing that please carry them on. These are young girls who are school dropouts due to early pregnancies, and those who are substance abuse. Because the rate of abortion among young people in our country is still very high, because this is my personal opinion. Most of young people actually, they are more scared to be pregnant than to acquire the virus. So if those young people who get pregnant, they are assured, they are counseled, they are protected, and they are carried on with the community, we may reduce the number of abortion. And having said that, as I said, I like your approach to the community, and I like the community involvement. Please, when you go to Parliament, we've heard the Group 3 shouting that this money is too much for them. They don't even know how they are going to implement the projects. Please share your approach to them. If primary. Thank you so much to have you, Honourable.
Many thanks.
Himba, only you can get away with saying things like that.
Yeah, no, I think there needs to, I think I talked about mentorship, behavior modification, which is the next stage which you want to move in, because for sure we've got a lot of young people who have lost hope in life. They have no direction, so they end up you can say falling to peer pressure because their friends, they are doing the same to create an opportunity. So girl child is our priority. I come from a family where majority or their sisters, out of 7, we are only 2 male, the rest are female. So I understand the importance of supporting the female folks. So we have so much heart connection to the women, and to support them to ensure that we at least give them that direction in life, So mentorship and the behavior modification is something which we really want to change, because whenever someone just sees someone from Kanko, that's this perception, they think of. It's a community which is somewhat stereotyped. So we need to change that stereotype, because it also kills the confidence of someone. When a stereotype, is very difficult for you to come out and show that you're creative. So we need to kill off that stereotyping by changing the behavior and some things we engage in as the resident of Kankoyo.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm going to move on to my co-host. Do you have anything to add on what has been spoken?
I will be short and brief, Honourable. Thank you so much for that clarification. Honourable, you have been in Parliament for over 90 days now, and have you identified some laws that needs to be changed, or are there any bills that you are proposing that will benefit your constituency, especially in line with labor laws, protecting your community that are working and the farmers?
Yes, I think I want to modify and maybe make an improvement on the minimum wage. I think the minimum wage will just pass without understanding different sectors we have. We are still in a developing economy, so different sectors faces different challenges. So you cannot pass a minimum wage across the industries. So we want to categorize the minimum wage so that it's more responsive and more addresses the needs of the people in different sectors. You cannot have someone who's dealing in a high value product like copper, which is selling at $10,000 per metric ton, have the same minimum wage as someone who's working as a garden boy. So we need to bring the bill I'm going to pass. The first bill obviously I'm going to pass is to have sector minimum wage, so that each sector has got its own minimum wage than having an umbrella minimum wage. Number two also is the limiting on the business the foreigners have to do. I'm not trying to be xenophobic, but I think there should be some level of I can say decency in the investors, the people go invest. We don't want to see someone coming to Zambia to start selling maize, sitting by the roadside doing the job which a widow can do, selling. So we want to, I think there's that policy in Botswana already. They're not inventing the wheel. There's a policy in Botswana. Maybe just we want to tell it a bit. So I want to limit the type of businesses which our friends who are coming the country as investors can do. We don't want to see foreigners promoting gambling. I mean, is it bonanza? There are those machines for gambling which have led to higher rate of crime in our community. So I want to pass a bill which is going to limit the type of business and many other. Obviously, also the information bill. The Minister of Information was talking about it today. The government is willing to implement it next year. It's a bill which most governments have run away from implementing, but the European government, being a transparent government, want to pass the information bill. So that bill we are going to support it, because at the end of the day, we want to increase access to information. Where we stop speculating, we want to have action. One can never want to know something. You have to know it without anyone being threatened to be fired because they've leaked important information. So those bills to me are very important.
Very well. Thank you so much. Protecting the whistleblowers, that's very important. Now we have under 15 minutes before the end of our show. And if you've just joined us, welcome to TV Okweto. And I'm your host, Linda Vance, with my co-host, who was late, Bo Mukelevai. We have been joined by Honourable Heartson Mabeta, our resident member of Parliament, and I've got Gladys Storm, Himba Malambo Mwelwa, one of our new family members, and Bo Mapenza. And on the other side, at the fans, there's someone calling themselves. This is our incredibly funny Wiseman. I'm going to give you the first few minutes, because you've literally just joined us, to make your comment, and I will give each one of us a minute or so to either choose a question from the viewers that has really caught their attention, or final remarks. And we're gonna have to be very disciplined on this, literally a minute each. Wiseman, your turn first. or TV Bakwetu journalist?
Better that way. But Honorable, good evening, sir.
Good evening, wise man. It's been long. How's the Kawe from Kawe, not so?
Yes, Kawe.
Oh yes, yeah.
Kawe is very fantastic.
Okay.
We have received to Porto, but Pedro young ones you have been given to Porto. We have received them very well.
Oh
and
yeah.
I think we are enjoying. Good evening, the TV Wakwetu family. Good evening, the presenters. Honorable, for me,
Yeah.
I want to see you people walking the talk. When we were in the opposition, I remember these crooks. For me, I call them crooks. They increased their salaries. And we cried foul. So I wanted to find out, since now we're in government, have we still maintained the same salary which they increased, or you are considering to start to reducing a salary, or maybe passing, if there is a way of passing a bill in parliament, so that ama allowance yambi honorable maputurako yarafurisha pikala him parliament 1.5 votile bombera 730 days awe ilefa ikatwa bako equity ila ine mwale twewa pako campaigna honorable. So don't know wala kufika kwa timu yako mu parliament upase bill mwachitako reduce ama tea break era mpera bashi TNA era tea break ipo kuno kukabwe na tita tuimona imwe mukira tea break ungandana muno tea na parliament mwana tea. How are you trying to balance ama enjoyment era mukwata ku parliament? Thank you very much.
Okay.
Honorable one, how would you enjoy tea? Muna sheko.
Never break. Yeah, never break. There's nothing much on that. Yeah. So anyway, when we say the increase in the salaries, I need to understand the basis, because maybe what people present and the actual, they are two different scenarios. Someone will tell you parliament, there's free food, there's free drinks, there's free beer, but ever since we went, they haven't seen anything free apart from the tea, I think is talking about. So I need to understand when he said the salaries were increased from how much to how, where the salary is. I think by next week I'll be able to respond to a question, because I need to investigate. Because the salaries which we are receiving now, and looking at the responsibilities which we have, basically, the salary for member of parliament is a community salary. For me, the last 4 months' salary, I've just spent it on meeting a lot of community needs. So it's not something I can even say it's enough, because I haven't saved even a single coin from it. So when you tell me of reducing the salary, which is already, I'm adding from my family resources to continue meeting the needs of the community. When I get my salary, I have to add some certain amount to continue meeting the needs of the community. It's already showing me to say the salary is not enough. So I need to investigate, understand which salary you say when it was increased. But if there'll be a need, definitely we can take that route. But at the moment, the needs of the community, we buy coffins, we buy this. I've got 100 letters of fundraising activities from churches, different groups. So the salary basically is not something we're moving saving from. It's something in which I think there's just exaggeration. Those who converted the role of member of parliament into being a fundraising venture, they created the perception to think MPs are paid so much, when it's not the case. Yeah,
it's not true. Okay, so you've clarified. It's not factual. They're just rumors. Now, I'm going to be a little bit strict on the time. We have 6 minutes. I want us to try and stay within the time frame. And don't forget, I've got the controls. So if you go past your minutes, I will just mute you, which will be hilarious. It will not be very pleasant for you guys. So I'm going to start with Mwela. One, either comment or a question. A very quick one, please. And then we'll follow by the Panza.
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Or comments.
Now
I think I've been nicely. Yes.
That's good. Then I can take her 1 minute.
No.
Just a quick one, Honorable. You know, this question of foreigners doing businesses that can be done by locals. In that context, really, have you, as members of Parliament, considered, the issue of land ownership by foreigners? I have talked to somebody about this. What is an issue in our area here? And I was asking, how did foreigners end up getting large tracts of land, and when we locals don't have that kind of land? And the answer was no, the law is not clear about that. There's nothing that prohibits foreigners from owning land. That is really a serious issue that you need to consider. I have worked in Malawi, I have worked in Angola. There is no way a foreigner can own land in Mozambique, a foreigner can own land in Angola. Why should we allow such a situation in Zambia?
Okay.
I'll ask another question so that you can take them in 2 batches. Should we go to Gladys?
Yes, please. Thank you, Linda. I'll try to be as quick as possible. Honorable, I would say that paradigm shift is very difficult in our culture. And if you hear about I'm a cooperative, people would line up hoping that they'll get things and then probably sell it. So what plan do you intend to put across in order to be to have efficiency? Do you plan to have some kind of training? Can you please tell me about your plan?
Thank you.
Okay.
Very briefly, Honorable, on those 2.
Yeah, I think on the issue of land, even in Dubai, I think most of the people in Dubai, they are rich today because the government never allowed the investors to own land. If you want to own land, you have to partner with a local. So I think that's the direction we have to take. Although we have to do a lot of investigation land audits, we don't hate those who've acquired land already. So that's a very good suggestion, which we think we need to add on to the things which foreigners shouldn't easily own. On cooperatives, I think there have been emphasis on the risk part of the business. Every cooperative who needs to be funded, they need to clearly state the risk management part of the business, because every business comes with a risk. Then there's also training. So on 5th December, training the first batch, we've engaged in each district, there is a cooperative officer who needs to do this job of training the cooperative are going to form. So we've laid out a program of training them. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Wiseman and Himba, you've got 2 minutes, which is 1 minute each, and the Honorable 1 minute to respond, please. Now, there's a challenge in itself. Himba, go first.
Okay. Thank you so much, Linda. Honourable Mabeta, my first appeal, it's a follow-up on what Gladys said. You've talked about the issues of training. I also appeal to you that in this component of training, please, may you include the life skills, so that it can help to change the mindset of young people. We reduce madanda head in parliament. It's lack of understanding and self-esteem, decision-making. So please include that in your training. Then the second one, Linda, I want to comment on the president's trip to Congo. That's a benefit to our country. But PF, Ikaleni, but president, damage control. The international relationships which you damaged, our president is going there to clean and build these relationships on behalf of you. So, Mwikalezi.
Thank you so much, Wiseman. Wiseman, oh, he is there. Are you there?
Yeah, always here trying to organize the stories as a journalist.
Go for it.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I think for me, Honorable, I wanted to find out on a personal capacity, when are we starting receiving empowerment? It seems we are a little slow when it comes to start empowering some of us by Group D. When are we starting and what are the plans for us for Group D? Kai wa merit mwali wa pera na bashani wa pera nomba kushireba Group D. What are you thinking about us? Thank you.
Thank
you. Okay. There are two questions already.
Yes, please. I do have literally less than a minute.
Vaimba problem valitemwa kushuta ba mwisho bandi so the samukulaba. You know, do you know that
you didn't mention the
in
name.
5 years from now, without such type of politicians, the politics will be boring. You need such people in politics. Yeah, so empowering, I think the whole program of empowerment is in the 2022 budget. We are currently debating the budget. Ministers have started debating the budget, meaning in the next 2 or 3 weeks, the budget will go to voting and you approve it. I'm sure it's going to be approved. So anything which has been proposed in the 2022 budget can only be spent after 1st January. So put your papers in place. I hope you have done your cooperative, done a business plan. You put everything, you've opened an account, because that's empowerment. They won't be giving cash. You need to just go through an account to buy material. So do your raw first. I hope you are ready, because whether there's a lot of zinc, there's a lot. No, don't limit yourself to what you can do. It's better you're told to reduce than you miss an opportunity. So think wide and expand your thinking so that you can establish a business which is going to benefit not only you, but the community around.
Fantastic. And the president did say that. So either join a cooperative or create a business plan and register your business, because he will not be giving like the previous administration. A quick comment I wanted to make, Honourable Mabeta. I won't press you to make a comment on this, but when you come back next time, will be good for you, some feedback. Center, abantu banakana center. Can you find a way of dealing with that? And it's been affecting a lot of people. Most of the people's lungs are damaged because of center. So if you can go back, have a look at how you can improve the situation in Muflira, that will be amazing. Well, team, we have literally managed to finish a minute over the time that I had allocated, which great for us, because my God, we have talk time. Among us, we can talk till the cows come home. So it's fantastic. We've done really well. Thank you so much, viewers. If you joined us, this has been a presentation of TV Wakwetu, and I've been your host, Linda Banks, with my Mr. Mukelebai, and we will see you again tomorrow. Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.